All right, guys, so for our first shoulder awareness and shoulder decompression kind of stage that we're gonna go through, we're gonna have our two plyo balls here. So it's those weighted sand balls that I had y'all get. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna place them up high on the armpits. So before we get started, remember the main primary goal here that we're looking to do is establish a solid position for our shoulder on our rib cage, right? We've probably done a lot of cueing in the past, whether it be from weightlifting or from different exercises or just postural things to get your shoulders back, get your chest up, all of that stuff. What we're really trying to do here is make sure that we can establish a solid position of our shoulders on the sides of our bodies, open up this space for a lot of blood flow into our arms, take some tension out of our neck, and really learn how to breathe width into our shoulders so that our shoulders can sit in the most natural, kind of safe and also mobile and strong position. So what I want you to do is let's go ahead and put these sand balls up high on your armpit and directly on the sides of your body. So I don't want them to be back behind you here. I don't want them to be in front of you. I want them to be as much east and west on your body as they can be. Okay, so I'm seated here in this seated position, and it might take a second to get the balls in the right spot. So in this seated position, my knees are at 90 degrees, my hips are at 90 degrees, and the very first thing that I'm gonna do is just realize that I probably look a little goofy, right? You're gonna feel a little goofy, and that's totally normal because look at what you're doing, right? So as I'm seated here, I'm gonna be really trying to focus on getting my stack. So very first thing that I'm gonna try to do is put my pelvis in a correct position on my chair. So my pelvis is not rolled backward, it's not tipped forward, it's just nice and neutral and nice and stacked. After that, I'm gonna try to put my rib cage back over my pelvis. So most guys are stuck a little forward in their belly, forward in the bottom angle of their ribs. I wanna kind of fall my rib cage back into my kidneys and into the back side of my lats here. After that, I'm gonna then put my head on top of my pelvis. Just to do this, you may start to feel your hip flexors activate, and you may feel like you're leaning or falling slightly back. That's okay for now. All you're gonna do for the first 2 minutes that we're gonna be here, so we're gonna be here for a total of about 5 to 6 minutes, is just try to slow the rate of your breathing down and let your hands relax. So if I'm making a fist with my hands, that's the opposite of what I wanna do. I wanna try to let my hands and my fingers fall open as I slow the rate of my breathing down. Okay, and I'm just really trying to control my inhale and control my exhale with my arms as fully relaxed as they can possibly be. And what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you're trying to breathe into the back half of your lungs. So I'm not trying to breathe into the front half here where my belly is. I'm trying to breathe into the back half of my lungs, trying to fill up the back side of my rib cage, the back side of my lats, and the back side of my spine. And again, my arms are fully relaxed, very heavy down my sides, and I can feel the sand balls slightly rolling down my rib cage when I breathe in. Again, my hands are fully relaxed, my forearms are fully relaxed, my shoulders are really relaxed. And every time I inhale, my lungs get big and I feel the sand balls roll down the side of my rib cage. I don't want any tension in my arms that doesn't need to be there. Now to complete stage one, guys, what we're gonna do is for the next 2 minutes, I want you to intentionally try to breathe outward into the sand balls as if you're trying to fill up the sand balls with air. So as you breathe in, you'll feel your rib cage expand outward and get very full into the sand balls, arms staying relaxed. Again, I'm not arching and flaring my chest. I'm trying to make my back feel very wide. Spine very straight. Everything's very stacked. I'm trying to let my shoulder blades and my fingertips fall to the ground as my lungs kind of fill up that space. And every time I exhale, I want to make sure I'm not just collapsing back into the smaller posture. It's like when I fill up a balloon. I breathe into the balloon gets bigger. When I take my little catch-up breath, I want to try to keep that size that I've gained, that width that I have, that robustness in my posture that I've just gained with a big breath in. And then when I exhale, I try not to lose that. I try to keep my width. I can lengthen outward through my collarbones. And then on the next inhale, I get a little bit bigger. I exhale, I keep my posture. I keep my length. I try to lengthen outward through my collarbones. Get 100% of the air in without straining your arms or your shoulders. And as you exhale, you keep your length. We're going to do one more breath in, one more breath out. Really feel your lungs expand outward into the sandballs as your arms get heavy into your body. And then easy, you can relax that. Good, guys. Okay, that's stage one of the shoulder decompression with the sandballs in your armpits. Again, we're trying to teach our body to go from a position of extension with our shoulders back like this to nice and full through our back with our shoulders more positioned on the sides of our bodies. That's going to put our shoulder blades and our rib cage in a more neutral position, which means that whenever we go to throw or run or spike or whatever it is, we're not moving from an exaggerated position. We're moving from a nice neutral position connected to our core and the rest of our body here. So you can practice this stage one, for as long as you want to. Always returning to the idea that my goal is to get a little bit bigger on my inhale, maintain my width as I exhale, and then on the next one, get even a little bit bigger. My arms more relaxed, exhale, and then a little bit bigger, my arms more relaxed. My goal is to have my arms as fully relaxed as possible with as big of a rib cage as I possibly can, all right? So that's stage one of the shoulder decompression.